All right, man. Well, welcome to the show. It's unfortunate that Ken couldn't make it here with us. Happy birthday to his daughter. It's unfortunate. I still don't remember her name. I think he said it to me the last time I saw him. But I'm also bad with names, like really bad with names. So you, on the other hand, I thought that Charlie Lima was like a kind of like a different name to go by through all the emails that BCS guys get. Like it was just like some anonymous general manager of the whole system. But then I started to realize that no, in fact, that is actually your real name. So
A lot of people think it's like I'm a military family because
oof,
that's basically
poor
Charlie
guy.
is the C and the L is Lima, which I'm not, but my real name's actually Carlos, and
Hmm.
my parents are from Guatemala, so
So I
uh,
was right. I am happy about that. That's good. Uh, so being somebody who's in the military currently, that is exactly why I thought that this was kind of like one of those just different names that people pop off, so you don't have to go by your real name, and people just get anonymous emails that have information. So that's pretty cool, though. So go ahead if you want, just tell the people where you're from, what you kind of do, what your background is.
Yeah, man. So thanks for having me, Steve, and happy birthday to Ken's daughter, and
Yes.
hope they're enjoying that time together. Um, Man, I'm 40 years old from Houston, Texas. Like I said, my parents are from Guatemala. I was the first person born in the U.S. from my family, and grew up in Houston. Came to Texas A&M at 18, and haven't left College Station. Uh, started my business in 2005, affiliated with CrossFit in 2008, started the BCS Classic in 2010, got married in 2009, and then had my first child, Kate, in 2012. 2015 had my second, that's Anderson. 2017 had my third, it's Chip. In 2019 had my fourth, which is Ames. And so
Wow.
we love College Station, love everything about CrossFit and fitness and health. Love my wife, my family, and I love BCS Classic. I think it's such a cool event, and just seeing kind of really what everyone has turned it into, and what the Lord has done with it is just kind of
Mhm.
pretty amazing, right?
So, if you want to start, I guess my first question would be, what drew you to Texas A&M?
Well, I really didn't know much about it. I was actually committed to University of Texas in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
and I was, accepted to that school, and I was going to go, and I had my roommate picked out, and then in May of my senior year, I changed my mind, and I'd visited College Station, I think in November that fall in '99 when the bonfire collapsed. They did like a benefit the bonfire concert, and I came up, and it just seemed like a great town, and I really, if I'm honest, I just feel like the Lord wanted me here, and I didn't really at that time fully understand um, what was in my future, but I really can look back now and be like, man, he grabbed me, and not saying that I didn't know what University of Texas in Austin would have led me to doing, but I think he really grabbed me and brought me here to College Station, and then I went, made this home, met my wife here, and a couple of years later in 2003, and then we started dating, got married in 2009.
So, what did you study at Texas A&M? I think was my next
Yeah,
question.
yeah. So I got a degree in sport management,
Okay.
and that was in the School of Kinesiology.
Okay.
Initially, I thought I wanted to be a sports agent. If you remember the movie Jerry Maguire, I
No.
oh man, anybody out there who's seen it, it's a
No.
great movie, and really it's Tom Cruise, but he's a sports agent.
Mm-hmm.
Cuba Gooding Jr. is like his only athlete, but it was such a good movie, and I thought, man, that'd be so cool to be
Mm-hmm.
a sports agent. So that's kind of what I transitioned into sport management, and sport management was really like the best combination of business and exercise science. So we
Mm-hmm.
still had to take a lot of anatomy and physiology, exercise science, biomechanics, but we took marketing and management and all the business classes. So I actually did the 5-year plan. I was
Oh, okay.
class of '04, but I graduated in '05. But I started personal training in 2003, which is kind of what really led me to falling in love with fitness, and I was kind of a fat kid, chubby, overweight teenager.
Okay.
And
Even
really
in college?
no, it was in 2000. So it was really the spring of 2000, my senior year, that I started my fitness journey. I was 242 pounds. And one day in February, I just woke up and I just was disgusted with the way I looked. And I had gained about 20 pounds since football season ended.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what to do, but I knew I didn't want to stay in this kind of state. So I went out, measured 2 miles in my neighborhood and tried to go out and run, and could barely basically make it like a block before I walked. And then I jogged a little, walked a little, finished that 2 miles, and then continued to run that 2 miles about 3 times a week. And by May of my senior year, I lost about 40 pounds. And all
Oh,
I
wow.
did nutritionally was cut out soft drinks. But I was I drank a
Big
lot
one.
of soft drinks. Yeah, I drink like 5 or 6 a day. And then, went to Texas A&M and started working out at the rec center. It was huge. And I just fell in love with it. And then kind of stumbled into personal training, and then haven't looked back. Really kind of just fell in love with people, like helping people in that way. That really, it just gives me a great reason to have a relationship with clients and people that I train.
Those rec centers in colleges are even like the smaller colleges, like the ones I went to in Connecticut were small, but they were like
Yeah.
well funded, or at least the equipment was really nice. It was kind of more or
Yeah.
less quiet for the most part. And I mean, I don't want to say, like, for me, it was a little bit of entrapment. Like, I got into those gyms and then I never would leave. I
Oh,
almost was
dude.
like, I would rather go to the gym than go to class for those
Yes.
specific reasons.
Yep.
But I guess to say to your story, I kind of want to ask, what was it about looking in the mirror that was just like the part that disgusted you? I feel like a lot of people say that, not saying that, it's not true, but I feel like that's a story that a lot of people say. It's like, hey, like I looked in the mirror one day and I was just like, God, like I'm disgusted at this.
Yeah, man. I vividly remember that bathroom moment, and just kind of, it's interesting because I've been in that exact same position daily forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody gets out of the shower and brushes their teeth and this and that or whatever. And it was something in that moment. I just felt like, man, I'm just like not happy with where I am physically.
Did you
And
just catch that one glimpse where it
well,
just your bad side?
I think, that I just turned 18, and I always, when I share my story, because I share it often, especially running a gym and over the years, different events I've spoken at or people I've met with, I really, it came down to, I wanted girls to like me, like
Fair.
I was 18, I was, in high school, and, the girls that I liked did not like me. And because, in my mind, I was overweight, and, and that's really what it's sadly all about in junior high and high school. So that was kind of like a driving purpose for me. And obviously now it's not that. I've got a beautiful wife, and so grateful for that. Now
Brownie
I
points.
I
Keep
work out
going.
for completely different reasons. But it's that I remember that day, like just wanting to change the course of the way I was living. Right. And
Mhm.
so that run changed my life for sure.
Honestly, it's weird now, like becoming a dad. Like, I mean, I'm 27, so uh, I don't. How old were you when you became a dad?
Actually, I got married when I was 26, and I turned 30 the year that I had my first child.
Oh wow, man. So becoming a dad has been a topic of discussion. I think Ken and I have done just a couple of times, just for flukes on here, and it is weird how, like, my wife, they always talked about, like, women go through like the different periods of pregnancy, and you read the books and it tells you like these are the things you might start to see or look for. Well, I was reading one of the books a couple of weeks ago, and it was like what to expect when you're expecting. It was like week 20 or something. I think we're in week 29 now, but it was like expect the women to start nesting. Right, they're going to start changing things. They're going to start looking around the house like, hey, I think we can do this, or hey, I think we can do that. That's me.
Mm.
But the other side of it is, like, not only am I trying to, like, we just ordered a new king size bed, a new frame. We took some, I'm trying to get like more shelving for different areas of the house, because I'm like, we're going to need more space because it's just a 2-bedroom apartment right now. But then I was like, the other areas, my wife even kind of noted to me, she was like, I see it in a lot of other things. And one of them is the gym, where I wanted to do individual competition for a long time. Obviously, being 27, like there's a limited window if I even want to get there. Not there yet. But then I found this other girl at our gym who's quite skilled in a lot of things, but also not quite there to be an individual or anything like that. But if you put two of those people together, plus another two relatively the same, maybe a little bit greater skill, you can make a team. And that was one of the things where I was like, being a dad, not necessarily getting old, but kind of getting older than I have been, I'm starting to realize, especially with the dad part, like, hey, I might need to change in some of these ways. I'm not working out for the same reasons I used to be. Now I'm working out with the purpose of I want to do these competitions, but I also want to have time for my family or the growing family that we have. So I can feel you on that, but at least at a minor level, I guess, because how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 40.
Okay, so 13 years older than me. I'm assuming when you get out of bed, your knees might hurt a little bit more than mine, but I get what you're saying, at least from that point. The other thing I wanted to ask was growing up in college, or not growing up in college, but yeah, growing up in college in 2000 to 2005, right? How old your oldest? You said
my daughter will be 10 on the day of the BCS Classic.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
There is a new way of going through college, and there's a new way of going through school. If you happen to have that insight or anything on that, what was it like going through college and school back then versus it is now?
Man, well, I don't know really anything about today, but I can tell you I loved college. Like it was the best 5 years of, just hanging out, partying, hanging out with buddies, getting to know people.
Especially Texas A&M.
I will say this: I do not want to relive those 5 years. I'm happy they happened when they did, and I definitely am not. I always tell people I'm the same person, but I'm just a different version of myself, and and that's combination of what we call the process of sanctification, which is kind of becoming more holy, right? And not to say that I'm holy by any means, but when you accept Christ and then you kind of start changing the way you live, slowly refining, it really does lead to a more fulfilling life, as much as you might not understand it as it's happening. And the reason I bring that up is because in college, like, you would not have known by the way I was living that I was, living for Christ. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I didn't enjoy that time, or if I look back, I'm not like regretful. I'm just definitely happy that it was back then and that it's not like that today.
Is that because of Twitter and Instagram, or?
Well, I'm so glad there was no Instagram or Facebook. I remember I didn't really post, I think my first comment or if you were at a D1 school, you got a Facebook account like in 04, 05, but I didn't even get on it until like 08, 09, and very minimally active. So yeah, social media was not even a thing. Obviously the way cell phones work today, it wasn't. I mean, I had the Nokia flip phone, which was a big deal, like the Razor back in like, I think high school, like 2000, 2001. And then the Blueberry or Blackberry, whatever.
Blackberry came out. Yeah.
Blackberry was big. And I remember I had that one in 05, 06. And then, the iPhone came out, but I didn't immediately get on until probably later.
I remember they came out with the Blackberry, and then a couple years later, I think Blackberry was its own. They weren't quite selling to the different like companies like AT&T and Verizon, and then they would sell you the phone or like charge you for it or X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So I had what was called the Blackjack,
which
was a slimmer version of that, but I had that. And I remember the first time I ever texted anybody ever was through the T9, like where you're hitting like 8 multiple times for a certain letter, and then you're going up through that. And then I got what was the Blackjack at the time, and I was like, oh my God, this is so much easier, texting off the chain. Then come to the phone bill, when it was still not free talk, free text. It was like 10 cents a text or 5 cents a text, and you were running up like a $200 bill somehow.
Yes.
So for sure, I remember going through like the whole AIM and AOL and all that. Like you're trying to create like these pieces that would somehow like make you look popular to people, but then at the same time you were kind of sitting there being like, well, how do I navigate all this new technology? And
Yeah.
now we have all this extra stuff, so it gets a little crazy now. But we'll get off
Yeah.
the subject. BCS Classic.
Yeah.
What made you come up with it? How did you come up with it? How did you start to implement it? And you said it's been going on since 2010.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
12 years. How have you kept it going?
This is year 13. Yeah, man. Like I told you, I found CrossFit in '08. I was one of the few people that actually was sitting in an L1 who had never even done a CrossFit workout or watched a video. I just showed up, and of course, like we used to do Fran, right? So Fran,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do one pull up, which was very humbling, and came back. And one of the instructors at my level 1 had a garage gym in College Station. So I actually went to his garage and worked out for 3 months, and then he was moving. So I decided to affiliate, right? And that was 2008. And then I competed in my first competition in October of '09. Back in Houston, there was a big event that turned big. And this year was kind of, I think, the second year of it or first year. It's called Oktoberfest.
Okay.
And I made it to the top 10. I'd never done that many workouts in one day, and drank the Kool-Aid quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard in January about an event that CrossFit put on called Sectionals, which was technically the path to regionals, which was the path to the games.
Mm-hmm.
And that anybody could sign up. So I signed up. I go to Austin. My friend Jeremy Teal put it on, and it was at Camp Mabry, and it was a 2-day competition. And dude, they took the top 30, and the top 30 from this sectional, and then the top 30 from the northern sectional, which was in Tulsa, competed at the regional in May in Fort Worth. And so I made it. I got 27th, and I snuck in. And when I came home from that competition, I was like, we need something like this in College Station. So that's where the fire lit. And then I put on the first BCS. At the time, we called it the BCS Games in 2010, May 1st. And there's still
I can only imagine why you called it the BCS Games.
Yeah. And then a few years later, CrossFit reached out to me and was like, hey, that's infringement on our license or whatever. If you want to lose your affiliation, change the name. So yeah, it was like 2013. I think we changed it to BCS Classic because their legal team reached out, and I'm like, I don't want to mess with that.
Of course they reach out with like the legal team. It's not like even like a humble.
I'm like, how did you hear about this tiny little event in College Station?
Exactly. Well, I mean, clearly it wasn't so tiny.
Yeah. So, and that was really the first year. And then, man, I'm a person that, like, if I really feel like there's benefit and value in something, then let's keep doing it. And so came back again next year. The first year we had like 80 participants. It was basically one division. It was a male division and a female division. And then we did it at the Lincoln Center, and basically, the money that was raised, we gave to the Lincoln Center. They were affiliated with the Boys and Girls Club. Yep. And so, of the Brazos Valley. And then that just became kind of this, it was like, okay, this is a cool little thing. And then at the time I was your age. Yep. So I was like actually competing. I was going to competitions and competing in various locations, and, people from the gym would come and other people would sign up. And, we had regionals teams in, 2012, 2013. And so that was like fueling the event a little bit in the fire, because when you're a competitor, it was just really fun, and it was great to get people together, and it was great to be able to, it's kind of like hosting a party, if I'm honest, like back in college, I shared a little bit about my college days with you. And, I had a birthday party, and 3,000 people came when I turned 20 years old at this place called the Warehouse that I rented out in College Station. And it was a big party, but, to me, BCS Classic is like my version today of throwing a big party. Okay. And it's just like the highlighting, it's the opportunity to highlight the things that I really find meaningful, and the things that that I would say give life, which is family, fitness, and faith. And so that's kind of where I think the beginning origins started. It was like, man, this is my opportunity to kind of put on an event and kind of put my thumbprint on it. Right.
Yeah. So how did you end up getting Rich involved?
Yeah, that wasn't until 2019, and that was his first year to come. And basically, it was a combination of kind of, I don't know if you follow any stories, but my son that was born in 2019, he had complications at birth, and he was full term. We had completely unexpected, but he basically got life flighted to Houston, and we spent 3 weeks at Texas Children's.
Oof.
And that was in February of 2019. And really, I mean, God saved his life. You know, it was a combination of a great medical team, of a lot of prayer, a lot of support. And I came out of that experience, me and my wife, obviously, with our kids, forever changed in many ways. And it wasn't until like a month later after that I really started even thinking about BCS. But I felt like the Lord kind of said, hey, this year, let's make it different. Let's make it not just a CrossFit competition. Let's make it a family fitness and faith festival.
Yeah.
And then what does that mean really is kind of the next question I asked, right? And then my mind starts going, and I'm like, well, let's have a reason that there's a family component to it. Let's have a reason there's a faith component. Obviously the fitness is the CrossFit. So I booked a lot of worship music that day. I booked a lot of speakers. And then at one point, like speaking people who could share testimonies and who I felt were influencers. And then I was like, man, it'd be so awesome if Rich came. And
so you just messaged him?
Well, I reached out to the person that essentially was booking him at that time, and he pitched the idea to Rich, and Rich was on board, and it lines up with who he is and what he's about. And and I always tell people, Rich is everything that you think he is based on what you see and perceive, but even better. He is just like I don't know many people who would kind of like, really just look into him and from a like YouTube perspective or like a Froning 4 documentary, and they'd be like, oh man, that guy's not a good dude. Everybody, I mean, you can just feel it.
If you look at those videos or just most of the things that he has documented, I've said this before on this podcast. He's somebody I would love to talk to. Hopefully I'll get the chance while I'm competing with you guys.
Yes.
But I really just don't see how anybody could say that he's not a great or good guy.
Okay. Exactly.
You can say like, oh, hey, maybe he's not a great guy because you don't actually know him just from videos, but that's different.
And after that first year, Steve, he's better than that. I can 100% tell you. And now, obviously, I built a stronger relationship with him, and he's better than that. And what I mean by that is like everything you'd hoped he is
good
and more. And he's just a humble dude who has a great heart, and he's just a great person. I mean, he's a great dad. He's a great husband, and I don't want to make him sound like he's like not somebody who makes mistakes, but at the core, he's humble, and that's a huge part of being a great dude, right? He's not afraid to admit that he's sometimes falls short of being a great dad, and sometimes falls short of being a great husband, which is ultimately what we all need is humility. Because the second that you start thinking you're flawless,
then
exactly. And so he
doesn't stink.
Yeah, so he basically came year one, and then this is his fourth year to come back, and he's just partnered with us. I think at this point we're at $96,000 raised for Ronald McDonald in 4 years.
Wow.
And that the reason we chose that charity is because what complications and all the 3 weeks in Houston with my little boy, we stayed at the Ronald McDonald House. And so when Rich kind of said, hey, I'd be willing to work out if somebody needs a partner, and we had this opportunity to fundraise, I asked my wife, I'm like, so who would you like to, give this money to? And she said, Ronald McDonald Charities, like instantly. And so that was really cool. Just, at this point, I think we'll hit $100,000 in these 4 years with the amount being raised this year. And then we've donated all the online qualifier proceeds have gone to Mayhem Mission.
Okay.
And then Advocare stepped up and did a $10,000 match.
Oh,
and so we'll give them a $30,000 check, in addition to the Ron McDonald check this year. And it's just really neat to see kind of not only what the event is for everyone who gets to participate and be involved, whether they're an athlete, a volunteer, a sponsor, a spectator, but even for the causes that we're supporting, and just how there's been this really cool opportunity that God's created to give, and and it doesn't make the event suffer at that at that point either.
Well, so I will tell you for sure, my partner and I, at least, we had an interview with the O2 owner, Dave. Great dude. I will definitely throw him your way. And especially like let him know if there is something he wants to donate charitably. Ronald McDonald Foundation would be a
That'd be
great starting
awesome.
spot. We'll also reach out to, we're sponsored and brought to you guys by Gooder Sunglasses. I don't know if you got any pair while you're in Madison. If not,
Bring me some, man.
if not, I'll bring you some. We got, dude, these things are fantastic. Whole bunch of them. You just let me know if you want to go on their site and you just happen to find a pair that you like. Maybe I can get them to send me and I'll bring
That'd
them
be
up with me.
great. That'd be great.
And for sure, we're actually going to be, I don't want to necessarily say sponsored, but Modballs, the company, I don't know if you saw them at the games. They're giving out some stuff to the competition athletes from my gym here in San Antonio. So we'll throw them your way as well as another company, hopefully to partner with next year, or to just donate in that good sense. I do want to ask a couple of questions about the competition, though.
Yeah, let's go.
Who's Rich's partner?
So right now, I really feel like it's going to be a girl named Morgan. She has a really cool story. So the person leading the fundraising, his name is Jordan Monroe, and he is basically allowing her, or kind of, since he's the top fundraiser, then he will get to choose, right? And he can obviously choose to compete with Rich, but he's like, no, man, I'd rather not. I'd rather have. And this young lady, she was a CrossFit Games athlete last year as a teen, and she's,
why are you guys stacking my division?
It's a male-female RX team, right, with Rich.
Yeah, that's what I'm in. I'm the 19th.
Yeah,
team.
and she's one of 6 siblings, and in the last year she lost her dad, and so really tragically. And so I don't know how this will impact her, but obviously she's on board and she's excited, but she's very quiet. But I know that it'll be meaningful to her. And especially, it's been a really tough year. So, I really think it's going to be her. And that'll be a cool experience.
If Rich just so happens to retire, to know that like one of the last competitions he did in that year, like you got to be his partner, that would be insanely cool. But God, you guys just had to stack the field that I happened to go into.
Well,
I thought he was just going to be somebody I would see, but now I got to go against him.
He's going to be in your heat, right? Because he'll be in that heat all day, so you'll definitely get to chat with him. You'll get to work out next to him.
God, man, you guys are bringing couple of my dreams true, her dreams true.
Hey, that'll
probably crushing my dream of even doing real well.
That'll be cool, though. It'll be special, and we got 750 athletes, so it's going to be a big competition.
I know. So, to athletes, and before I get you out of here, programming. What are some things maybe that you could tell us that won't give everything away?
I'm excited that we're releasing them Monday. I actually just proofed the movement standard videos today, so that'll be really cool to showcase. Rich, he wrote these workouts several months ago. I think he did. Oh yeah, he programs everything. I think he did.
We're all gonna be on the ground dying.
I feel like he did them all in like a day or two, and
probably.
And they all, when he does them, he sends me over kind of how he does, and he changes little things. And obviously, he knows our venue and our space. And then this year, Rogue is going to provide equipment, which will be really cool. And so, so we just have a lot of cool things. But as far as workouts go, I'll tell you this. By the time I don't know when you're putting this podcast out, but you'll know. I mean, it's not even worth me sharing right now, because you're going to know in like 6 days if you put this out today. The workouts will be out on the 15th. So,
dude,
I will say this:
a little bit of news right there made me pumped.
They are all this year. I mean, for the RX teams, and I think the intermediate and scaled have appropriate scalings of the RX workouts, which is really cool. But everything's elevated. It's just a really well-rounded. I never got so many compliments on the programming until Rich started programming. It was like 2020 was his first year to program. Yeah. And people are like, oh, this is so great, and so it's just neat, because I think there is a gift in that. And I think that part of your experience as an athlete or even a spectator is the workouts. I mean, that's a cool part of it. Right. And so it just it's his signature. You got a guy who's, stood on the podium 12 years, 10 times of those first place at the games, 2 times of those second place. and he just knows the sport. And he's the kind of person that when it comes to programming, it spews out of him, right? It's
Yeah.
just like he's thinking workouts constantly. So I
He's
think
writing elegant workouts for
that's
over a
right.
decade now.
That's right.
And the other thing is he like lives CrossFit without it ever really being in your face.
Yes, that's right.
Which is probably one of the cooler ways that people have ever seen it, because most people think it's like CrossFit's like a cult, or like they're just like sometimes like douchey people, especially the guys who are just like in your face about it, like, oh, I do CrossFit, but that guy could walk around a town, do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
Nobody would know. But at the end of the day, if they asked him, like, hey, like, how do you stay this fit? Like, you're 30, going on 35. How are you in great shape? And, hey, like, I do fitness.
It's just what he does. Exactly.
And he doesn't even use the word.
No, it's like, that's exactly right. That's right.
So
the workouts are great. You're going to get them on the 15th. So
yeah. And now I'm excited that Rogue's supplying a majority of the equipment, all the equipment.
All the equipment except for the rig is my buddy Jeremy. He puts on CFX, and so he is gonna. We're gonna use his rig is awesome, and then
give him a shout out.
Yeah, he puts on the FitX Experience, which most everybody down here in this area is familiar with.
I got a chance to go last year.
He'll be running one of the pads. He's good personal friend. He was at the games with me, but he's the head judge for one of the pads, and we're trying to plug people towards his throwdowns right now, the TFX throwdowns that he's doing at 5 different locations. And so, and then his event next January.
Okay. So, last, I guess, couple of questions, probably 2. When people get to the venue, what can they expect other than obviously the event? Is there anything going on? Is there any behind the scenes type stuff?
Yeah, man,
vendor village type deal.
Oh, you got a massive vendor village this year. I'm most pumped that we're having a Friday Night Lights event, and that'll be really.
I'm taking an extra day at least so I can get up there.
No, it's gonna be. You guys, everybody's gonna love that, and it'll be just the energy in that room. What gave me that idea too was I was at Jeremy's event this last year, and he did a Friday Night Lights. His is a 3-day event. And I've always loved doing a 1-day event, but really we cram so much in one day that it makes the schedule really tight, right? And so I thought, man, this would be a cool year to experiment with adding a Friday Night Lights and not obligating people to get there early and not committing to a Sunday, but basically it really does, I think, add a little energy. And I think it also gets everybody there and excited Friday night to wake up Saturday and hit 3 more workouts. And so that's probably something new. We've got great partners this year. Yeti is one of our platinum sponsors. We've got both cities. I think the mayor of Bryan is going to actually present our awards and kind of do some opening ceremonies. But College Station is one of our platinum sponsors. Destination Bryan is one of our platinum sponsors. Scott and White is one of our diamond sponsors, which is a hospital here, really big hospital. There's Advocare, is one of our platinum sponsors, and they're just always great because they step up. Rich is an Advocare athlete, and we got a lot of other great vendors that are going to be there, and so Vendor Village is going to be great. And then just really excited to showcase everything that our team's been working really hard to put on August 26th, 27th.
Well, man, it has been a blast talking to you. I know you got to get out of here. The last, I guess, question, not really, but if you want, tell the people where they can find you, where they can find the BCS Classic, like social media wise, if there's any extra intel that you can give them out, or if there's anything they should be looking out for.
Yeah, man. I think the best thing is anybody who wants information on this event, just go follow at BCS Classic on Instagram. Beth Duermeyer runs that, and she does a fantastic job. And she's posting every day, especially as we get closer. Look out for these workout videos. A shout out to Andy Adams. He's kind of runs the competition side of the event, and he put together with combination one of our media team members, Will Walker, who are doing these videos. A great movement standard video. Like I said, I saw it today and it looks great. So follow at BCS Classic. And then don't hesitate to reach out to me personally. I always tell people I'm always available. Shoot me an email. And I'm happy. And I've gotten tons of them. So I know people are emailing me because people are asking for different questions. And you can always reach out to me, Charlie, at boomfitbcs.com. Shoot me an email. Feel free to ask anything. And I'm just really excited to kind of see what
Dude, I'm pumped.
this year's event turns into. So
I got to tell you, we're sending, I believe, 9 teams from my
wow.
local gym here. They bid in hard after, I think a lot of people went to TFX, and then they, obviously everybody drinks the Kool-Aid. So they're like, hey, what's the next qualifier that's going on? BCS was the next one. And it was day after day. People would do like the morning class, and then they'd come in the afternoon and be like, I'm still kind of feeling it. I'll do one of those qualifier workouts. Well, I had to do one of your qualifier workouts, or actually 2 of them back to back with an hour's rest because of my schedule at work, and then sending me somewhere else and bringing me back. So, dude, there's so many people that have put in a lot of hard work on our end. I'm sure it's 10 times as much for you guys. So I'll let you get out of here. Thank you.
I want to say I'm really excited too about the shirts because Dre over at Mayhem, he does all their apparel. He designed our shirts.
Those are kick-ass.
Okay, yeah, we put those out on the Instagram, and they're really cool this year. So
now, how do those come to the athlete? Do we have to buy those from you guys, or do we get all?
No. You guys will get a full, swag bag, and you'll get those. And shout out to Reebok. We've got Reebok shoes for our volunteers. So anybody who's still wanting to volunteer, you get a pair of shoes. You get Yeti, one of those Yeti drinks. That they make branded. We've got T-shirts. I mean, it's a pretty awesome. And we're paying our judges. We're paying our judges this year. So anybody, we still need volunteers. So go to BCS Classic Instagram, click on the link tree, and then sign up to volunteer because we definitely are still in need of volunteers.
Okay. After you get off, I'll do another rerun of this right here. But I do want to ask real quick, what are some of the volunteer opportunities that you guys still have open or that you guys still volunteer for?
Yeah. So that's the manpower that's always needed. We really need about 200. It's funny. I just heard this last week at the games. They use 600 to 700 volunteers, and just watching that operation is huge. But we're a tiny version of anything compared to them. But we really need people to judge, which is obvious. Like a very important need. And because we have 20 teams going per heat, and we have 3 pads going on at the same time, right? Our needs are high for judges. We need equipment handlers and movers, right? Because you got to interact. We have a male RX. Scaled, intermediate. We have all these divisions.
Yeah, you got to switch out bars,
changing weights,
kettlebells.
We need people to clean equipment in between heats. That's designated to the pads. We need scorecard runners who take scorecards back to the scoring room. We need people who handle athlete check-in. We need people who support athlete control. We need people who help the vendors and the sponsors. We need people who check in spectators as they come. So there's really just about every need that you can think of with a major event. It's almost like, the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is big, and they always have a place for you to serve, right? So anybody who wants to be at the event and wants to help us out, if you go to that link tree on the BCS Classic Instagram, you can kind of pick and choose the day, the time, the place that you feel you could best serve in.
And you can tickets are still available for
spectators. You have to buy it ahead of the time.
Okay.
So,
I still have to get my wife one.
Yeah. And so you can get that on the link tree as well.
Okay. Well, I'll let you get out of here, man. You have a great day. I'll wrap all that up in a nice bun after I do sponsors when we're done here. And then I'll be in touch. And when I get there, I'll expect to have a nice little conversation with you.
Yeah, please come say hi, man. And thanks for reaching out, Steve. Appreciate you.
No problem, man. You have a great day.
Hey, best of luck with that new baby coming.
Man, I'm going to need all the luck I can get.
All right. Take care.
Right, you have a good one. All right. We are still live. I am still here because Ken is not. Happy birthday to Ken's daughter, by the way. And Ken, thank you very much for doing all this stuff that you do. Because I am not very great at this, clearly, right? But I'm actually kind of good. So we're going to go through this real quick. First and foremost, we are brought to you guys by Gooder Sunglasses. Gooder was the official sponsor of the 2022 Noble CrossFit Games. For everybody who sat out there and watched and cheered on your favorite athlete and wondered why they weren't wearing a pair of sunglasses from Gooder, well, that's probably because they were getting paid a shit ton of money from somebody else. But we're getting paid by them, and I love these sunglasses. So here I am. I'm going to hawk them at you guys now. All right? These sunglasses are kick-ass, by the way. I don't want to hear nothing about Oakley or Nike or anything else. You can get these all of these sunglasses, minus a couple, okay, for $25. Not $25 a month. You're not putting them on layaway like you do with Ray-Bans or some Nike shit or some Oakley shit, unless you're, a government worker and then, you go to GovX, but no free shoutouts, okay? So Gooder sunglasses. These probably one of my favorite pairs so far, okay? And this comes from the Glasses of the Gods collection, okay? I don't know if that's backwards. It might be with my computer, but this is a brand new box. They just came out with these. Okay, they sent them to the boys, right? Because obviously we're special. Okay, we're a paid podcast now, guys. We're special. Okay, I think these are kick ass, right? You have your lenses. Okay, all of them are going to be top of the line lenses. They don't really scratch. As far as I've had these for, I don't know, somewhere around a month now. Been wearing them every single day. I've dropped them. Unfortunately, sorry, Gooder. Dropped them about 2 or 3 times. Nothing on the lenses. Okay, they're polarized. Right. When I'm driving San Antonio, the sun creeps right over the horizon. There's nothing to block it. I got my Gooder sunglasses on every morning. Okay, every morning on my drive in to Fort Sam, you can catch me wearing these. All right. If you live in the greater San Antonio area, find me on my way to work. You'll find me wearing a pair of Gooder sunglasses. All right. The reason why I like them, and this is something I've talked about pretty often on this show. If you look on the inside right here, for those of you guys, audio listeners, okay, it's right on the inside of the pair of sunglasses as it goes over your ear, okay, or right past your ear, I should say. Now, it has, I'm not an expert here, but it has a rubbery texture to it, right? What it's meant to do is stick to your head. It's meant to help stick everything to your head. And it even has these little circular holes to them, almost like an octopus tentacle, right? They stick right along the side of your head, right where, for most of those dudes, right where you get your fade, okay? Right where it starts to turn from just a little bit of hair to skin, right? So it sticks right in the right spot. And you can lift in these. You can run in these. You can do anything you want in these. They're going to stay on your head. They're safe. They're reliable. They're respectable sunglasses across the board, and most of all, they're resilient, okay? Just like the people that make them in the good old US of A. The other thing, right? My buddy Alex, he just happened to win a pair of these bad boys, okay? Not this specific pair because, I like the guy, and I'm naming part of my child's name after him, but I don't like him that much. I'm not going to give him, Glasses of the God, okay? But what we did do is we sent the boy a pair of sunglasses or two. He's going to post some pictures. We're going to repost them here shortly. Okay. They actually kind of look like this. All right. I'm going to open up this. This is my second favorite pair. Okay. But what we did is when we sent them to Alex, okay, Alex was looking at them. And I mean, these are pretty kick ass, man. These are their newest line of sunglasses. This is the one piece. Okay. I don't actually know if that's the name, but this is the one piece sunglasses. It's basically just, there's no divide here in the center. It's just continuous all the way around. Dude, it makes you feel like you have 360 view. Okay. I kind of forgot where I was going with some of this, but if you guys go on gooder.com, okay, and you guys look up all of their sunglasses, they have a kick-ass lineup, kick-ass lenses, colors, the works. Okay. Again, like I said, $25 a month. You can't beat them. They're resilient. They don't break. The boy, Alex, kind of remembered, right? He went on his boat, took him out on the boat, went skiing on the boat, fell off a couple of times, puts them on the boat. They go through the sun. They go through the water. They're fantastic amount of sunglasses. All right, I'm done talking about Gooder. They don't pay me that much. All right, Gooder.com, everybody. All right, Gooder.com. Then we're working on a promo code with them. But if you do get a pair of sunglasses, okay, go down to the bottom of the page, hit the Contact Us tab, send them a quick little link, right, or a little message. Tell them how great the sunglasses are, how excited you are. And then when you're done, tell them that the boys sent you, okay? Tell them that It's Not All Black and White podcast sent you guys, all right? Whew. That was a long ad read. Good, you're lucky. Oh, you know where I was going with that, Alex? Just because, he's a good friend. I'll talk to him real quick. He got a pair of Gooder sunglasses. And one of the other effects of the Gooder sunglass, staple, okay? It's a staple of their company. They're completely environmentally friendly. These are 100% eco-proof. And what I mean by that is no pollution was done while making these sunglasses, okay? They're environmentally friendly sunglasses. I know that doesn't mean a lot to everybody, okay? But you know what? If you're trying to do what little you can do for this planet, if you could buy a pair of sunglasses that you know does not harm the planet in the making or the use of them, I'm all for it. They're kick-ass sunglasses. Top of the line, in my opinion. I'm going to be wearing them all throughout BCS qualifier. If you guys want, DM us some a little bit. Okay. Ask for a pair of sunglasses. I'll bring you a pair if you're going to be at the BCS. Okay. All of our ballistic built teams from Ballistic Built CrossFit, San Antonio. Let's fucking get it, guys. We're going to go out there. We're going to kick some fucking ass. But each and every one of those guys is going to be wearing a pair of Gooder sunglasses. Understand me? We're all going to be decked out in Gooder sunglasses. So if you have got a pair, you listen to this podcast, and you're from Ballistic Built CrossFit, again, you have to be going to the competition. Okay? I don't want none of this, hey, man, I heard you're giving out free sunglasses. Like the guy who thought we were giving out free fucking mod balls. We don't do that here. Okay? If you want a pair of Gooder sunglasses because you're going to the BCS qualifier or the BCS Classic, my apologies. Okay. You come to me, let me know. We'll get you a pair of Gooder sunglasses from Gooder.com, GOODR.com. That's the end of that. All right. Number 2, I'm going to talk about O2 real quick just because their owner, Dave is a great fucking man. Okay. If you don't know who Dave is, look up O2 or O2 Drink on Instagram. Just go ahead, look at their prices, look at the quality of the product, through the reviews. They're phenomenal. Basically, what O2 is, I'm just going to give them a shout out. They're not really a sponsor, but they're sponsoring me and my partner Liz going to the BCS Classic. They sent us some merch. They sent us great drinks. We're using them as prep for our competition. Whether you believe in a lot of this stuff or whether you feel like spending the money on all of it, I can tell you O2 is a company that not only cares about their product, they care about the after effect to it of how it helps the athlete, and they care about the athlete, man. Dave, he was at the CrossFit Games, and all I've seen is nothing but story after story. Granted, he's reposting them, but they're coming from other people. Okay. Talking about how much Dave cares about the games, about the culture, the community, fitness in a whole, but he cares about his fucking product, man. This dude was, I think there's a picture on his Instagram of he was selling this shit out by the cases, almost by the pallet, out of his Prius for, I think he said on the podcast, at least a year, right? The guy loves his business. He loves his product. And what O2 really is a recovery drink. For those of you guys out there who are sitting there, look, I like the Kill Cliffs. I like some of the other stuff, right? O2 is a primed recovery drink for all athletes. It's oxygenated water, essentially, right, with flavoring. I can't speak to whether or not that flavor is natural. It says on the can, naturally flavored recovery drink, okay? So it's not me, it's them. That's what they're saying. That's what Dave's saying, okay? It's naturally flavored. This one's orange. Honestly, it's not my favorite. It's my second favorite. I will give it lemon lime seems to be, or I believe it's a lime, actually, just a lime. That's my favorite flavor. Then I also have the grapefruit ginger. Grapefruit ginger, also probably a third favorite, right? Granted, I think he has like 4, maybe 5 tastes. I would probably say that's number 4 on my list. Again, like I said, can't say enough great stuff about Dave. He's a good dude all around. His product is amazing. Honestly, I feel terrific after I drink them. They are not carbonated. That is a huge selling point, I think, to a lot of listeners. Those of you guys who are out there, go out to O2 Drink or Drink O2 on Instagram. Look up their prices. Go on their link tree. Send Dave a quick message. Tell him the boy sent you. Okay. And then go ahead and order yourself some O2. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. I can't say it enough. They don't even sponsor us, but I think that they deserve the shout out. Okay. My third shout out, no free shout outs, but technically kind of a free shout out, Mod Balls. Okay. We don't talk enough about Mod Balls on this podcast, even though we should, because they are a company that 100%, not only do they care about the boys, but they care about all the athletes that the boys care about. Okay. We had our friend Hayes. They care about Hayes. They've supported Hayes in one way or another. They've cared about some other athletes that we've had on the podcast. Won't name names, but what they did was incredible. They supported those guys. Okay. They sent them merch. They sent them product. They helped pay for certain things. They care about the athletes that they go out and say, we're going to stick our product and our brand on you with your permission. And we hope that what we can give you will then help reflect in your training, and you will help reflect it back on us, which is what good people do. They're at least good business people, right? They give you the benefit of the doubt up front. They give you what they can. And then in return, they hope that when you succeed, that you will then help rise, or a rising tide lifts all ships, right? So they hope that if they can help you in some way, when you get lifted, you will help lift them. Modballs has done the same when it comes to me and my partner Liz, along with 2 other teams. I won't name names just in case they don't want to be named, right? But from the time I messaged them till now, all the way up until the BCS Classic, which isn't even a CrossFit Games sanctioned event. It's not like we're going to a regional or a regionals type situation. We're going to a competition local to Texas. It's for a good cause, but at the same time, Modball is like, hey, it's great promotion for us. But what we can do is we can send you guys product. We can send you guys some clothes. We can do a little deal on the side. But we want to help you guys get to where you guys want to be, and you guys can help reflect our cause while doing so. So shout out to all the dudes at Modballs, right? There's an S at that, Steve. Good job. Those guys have helped us out tremendously. If it wasn't for a certain couple of people, we'd probably have more bags of Modballs at our gym. But that dude, if he listens to this podcast, he knows who he is. All right. Thank you for bringing those bags back, by the way. Lastly, okay. Whew. This is a lot of ad reads, man. Lastly, I want to recap what was talked about by Charlie at the end of that podcast. Okay. So, A, the money goes to the Ronald McDonald Foundation. It was something near and dear to his family for his child's medical care that he experienced after birth. I think that is a very generous place for him to send the money to. I think it's very generous of Advocare to also match that number. I think it's generous of Rich to spend his time after the games, which it's only about another 3-ish weeks before he has to then leave his family, come to Texas to do another competition after he just won the CrossFit Games and had to train all the way for that, travel all that time with his family. So I hope Rich gets some time away. But to recap the rest of that, not only does the money go to a great place, right, but we encourage everybody listening. I encourage our sponsors. I will send messages to our sponsors, relay them to Charlie. His real name is Carlos, but to Charlie, right? And get them on board. Hey, if you guys have anywhere that you would like to look to donate money this year to just help a worthy cause, go ahead and hit up BCS Classic, then hit up the Ronald McDonald Foundation. Let them know that you're putting it in through that, or donate all the money that you want to donate back to the BCS Classic next year and allow them to put it in through that way. It helps you feel good that you put it into a trustworthy person's hand who then put it into another trustworthy person's hand, right? Next thing. I train at Ballistic Built CrossFit, but I know Ken, he trains at CrossFit Decimate up in Colorado Springs. I know obviously it's out of the way. It's a little short notice, but at least for the people here in Texas, if you live in San Antonio, if you live in Dallas, if you live in Austin, the drive to Bryan, Texas, or College Station is not that far. I think for me, it's only like 2.5, maybe 3 hours at the most. Probably a little bit closer to 3 hours because I have a pregnant wife and she'll have to stop for a couple of things. If you guys have the free time, not only please buy a ticket to be a spectator, come spectate. But you know what? There's nothing better, A, than getting free shit, okay, which in the next thing you can get. But also, if you want to spectate, there's no better place to spectate than on the competition floor. Granted, you'll have to do a little bit of work, but you can volunteer, right? So everybody at my gym, at Ballistic Built CrossFit, I encourage you guys, right? Instead of paying the spectator fee, right, come up and be somebody who exchanges weight, who runs cards with scores, right? Or somebody who does any number of the things that he mentioned. I believe it was scorecard runner. There was the people who exchange out the weights, athlete control. I don't think it was crowd control necessary, right? But you're doing ticketing, you're doing seats, You're helping move extra equipment that doesn't necessarily have to do with the competition floor. Then there are the people doing the stuff with the competition floor equipment. You have judges that they need. He said you get a free Yeti. I believe it's probably a Yeti tumbler or a Yeti cup at least, right? But hey, it's free and you get to be right on the competition floor. Now, anybody who's drinking the Kool-Aid, you're going to get an opportunity, most likely, now that we know, right? And we've known for a while. Rich is going to be on the floor. I don't know if anybody else from Mayhem's going to be there or doing any of that stuff. You'll probably get essentially what would be almost VIP access to the athletes. Not only the people who you're there to cheer on, right? Nothing better than being a judge, seeing somebody in the scaled or intermediate or RX division, give them a quick high five, low five, whatever you want to do, right? Give them a chest bump or some shit as they're going out to their platform and be like, hey, man, I'm out here. I might not be grading you or judging you, but hey, I'm here for you. I'm watching you. Go get them. That is some cool ass shit. I would love to see people from Ballistic Built CrossFit at this event on the floor as a judge or doing some type of volunteer work. It's always a great opportunity. If you're in Colorado and you know Ken and you listen to this podcast, which hopefully you do frequently, maybe spend the money. Why not? Take a trip down to College Station. It's a party town. If you're a college age-ish person, you can get into a bar. It's probably a pretty kick-ass time. So you can at least get in for free to the event if you volunteer, right? If not, come down, support the boy, support a great cause, donate essentially some money to this cause, right? To spectate it or to be a part of the volunteer process and know that the money will go to a good cause. All right. So this is almost the end of me giving my spiels. At the end of the day, wrap up real quick. All right. Boys, the boy is going to the BCS Classic August 26th and 27th. Friday Night Lights Throwdown. Okay. I believe that's the 26th. Saturday, I think Charlie said we have 3 events. It's going to go all day Saturday. There's a terrific vendor village. There's going to be a bunch of Mayhem apparel. I believe, I would assume wherever Rich goes to competitions like this, they always bring the Mayhem trucks, right? They bring all the gear. They bring all the merch. They show off a little bit in a way because it's there for the fans, okay? Come out, support us, support me. Come say hi to my wife. She's going to be probably somewhere around 8 months pregnant, 8.5 months pregnant by that time. It's going to be a cool trip. I can't wait to go. Go to gooder.com. Okay. Go ahead. Buy a couple of pairs of sunglasses for $25 each, people. You can get blue light glasses. You can get one lens glasses that are continuous all the way around. They have no break in the center. It's super cool. The way they fit around the nose and the way they stick to the sides of your head. It's phenomenal. The way they make them is top of the line, resilient. Okay. They are respectable, and by God, they help us out, okay? And they're eco-friendly, man. They're the best sunglasses I've seen in a long time, and they feel terrific. Other than that, you guys have a great day. So for Ken Clark, okay, the Ken Clark that sounds like Clark Kent, Charlie Lima, I'm Stephen Holt. This has been It's Not All Black and White podcast. Go have yourselves a good night, guys.